It's the Sync Boys podcast.
What's going on, everybody? This is the Sync Boys podcast.
Sync Boys.
Yes, boys. All right, so today we have the AFC North preview and predictions. Last episode, we did the AFC West, and we thought that was definitely a close division. I don't think this division is going to be close or as close, but we'll see how the predictions shake out. I'm excited to see what Jack says.
Joe liked to call the West the primetime division. I'm fully for that. Did you make any headway on whether or not the Western games start later?
I did. I realized that makes a lot of sense, and nobody wants to wake up at 6 a.m. to make it to a football game.
I was just going to say, like, we're watching the playoffs the whole year, and it's like, yeah, the Western games start later.
Yeah. I mean, dude, what I was saying is that no one wants to wake up at 6 a.m. to have to prep and get dressed and ready for a 10 o'clock start. And the fans don't want to have to get up at 6. So that's why they have them slotted for 1 o'clock over there and 4 o'clock over here. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, well, we're going to start it off with the Bengals, last year's AFC champions. Definitely a surprise. They finished fourth seed in the AFC. They won their division, but they were the worst team to win the division. So were the Giants in both their Super Bowl winning years, by the way. Yes, guys. Joe Burrow, top 5 quarterback. Jamar Chase, top 5 receiver. Joe Mixon had 1,500 all-purpose yards and 16 total touchdowns last year. I think that we can call him top 5. Yeah, I didn't think that at all. Obviously, they're definitely have some firepower on the offensive end. They have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. They had Ozuma, but he left to go to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but and their defense was solid. They got a couple stars on that side. But Jack, what do you think about the Bengals stars?
I really
think they're going to be able to repeat.
I don't know. The AFC is just so full of great teams, and they're just gotten better, just general in the AFC. I really like Jesse Bates in the playoffs. That safety.
Oh my God, yeah, dude! I forgot
they franchise tagged him. He's a beast. I don't know if he's just like a playoff performer. I wasn't paying attention in the regular season, but
especially with the Bengals.
They seem like a really balanced squad. Getting a little ahead of myself, I have them finishing best in the division. I mean, they made the Super Bowl last year. Definitely not a tough take right there, but not a lot of other great teams in this division. From their transactions, all I got was that they signed their coach to 5 years. They re-signed BJ Hill.
Giants guy.
And Eli Apple.
Giants guy. Yikes.
Yikes.
I feel like Eli Apple's a poster boy for bad corner play, and he keeps getting deals in the NFL, dude.
He got drafted
like notable
in the first
deals.
round. I remember one of my friends from high school, just like when we picked him, just like took a video, like, I can't believe you wasted your first rounder on this guy. And like, definitely apprehensive immediately as soon as we got him, but total letdown. And the Bengals are like, yeah, I'll take another dose of that. The last one was they re-signed offensive tackle Lyle Collins. So if we examine the schedules for each team, like we did last time, I think the Bengals have the hardest schedule out of the 4 teams in this division. The AFC North is playing against the AFC East and the NFC South. So we obviously know who those teams are. And every team in this division are going to play those 2 divisions. It's just the 3 random games that separate each team's schedule. And I think that the Bengals have the hardest based off the fact that the three random teams that they're playing are the Cowboys, the Titans, and the Chiefs.
Yeah, dude, I think the Cowboys will beat a lot of people this year, dude. But I don't think they've never proved to us that they're worthy of real consideration for like a contender. So I never know what to think about them. Even like I say that the Giants are going to sweep them every year, but reality starts to set in like the first quarter with 8 minutes left of the first game of the season.
First touchdown,
dude.
maybe 2 touchdowns already.
Yeah. But dude, just already off the rip, looking at, we already broke down the AFC West's tough divisional schedule. And the Bengals, dude, the Steelers are not really anything to be too concerned about. And the Browns, dude, they traded Baker Mayfield to the Panthers today, and Deshaun Watson doesn't look like he's going to be playing at least the beginning of the season. They have Jacoby Brissett as their backup. So, do I think Jacoby Brissett and Amari Cooper and that defense, which is probably a bunch of really pissed off rich guys, which doesn't really amount to much, most of the time, people that have been paid off that are on a bad team don't typically play well. But I don't see the Browns being a threat. So I think the schedule is easier is really what I'm getting at. But I do think the Bengals have the hardest side of the division, like you said. What do you have their predicted record as, dude?
Well, they finished 10-7 last year. I don't know. I guess give them one more win. I still see the Bengals as one of those teams, they have a great quarterback, they have a great receiving core, they have a great running back, they have a good offense, they're going to put up points, but I still don't have them in that top echelon of teams in the AFC West. I mean the AFC in general. Yeah, I'd say 11-6 is probably what I'm going with.
Dude, I'm torn. After doing all the research, I'm torn between, I think that the Ravens could have done what the Bengals did last year if they stayed healthy.
Mm-hmm.
What if the Ravens won the division last year, dude? Were the Bengals good enough to get into the playoffs? Their matchup would have been different. Who knows? We might be thinking of the Bengals so highly right now because of how far they went in the playoffs last year. So when I go through the matchups, maybe they're not good enough to beat the Saints. Maybe they're not good enough to beat the Titans. Maybe they get blown out by the Chiefs and the Buccaneers and the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, dude, then I'm going to have them around 9-8. But when I went through it the first time, really thinking that the Bengals were a young team with a young, confident quarterback and stars all around them and a young head coach and all the success they've had, I have them at 12-5. The first time that I ran through the schedule, but we'll see, dude. It's a lot up in the air for this team. And the defense made big plays last year, but it's not like they were blowing everybody away.
My thing with the Bengals is, like I just said, I don't have them with, let's say, the Titans, the Colts, the Chargers, potentially. Some of those really good teams, the Bills, but just right below that. And I don't hesitate as much saying that they're going to beat some of those run-of-the-mill teams like the Pats or the Saints. I think they'll handle teams like that just because week after week we were all right, the Bengals beat the Raiders in the playoffs. And then the next week was all right, are they going to get over that hump? Oh my God, they upset the Titans. It's week after week, Burrow was I'm proving it to you. I'm a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I have them winning this division. And it could be 11-6. I like 12-5. I think they're a good enough team to make the playoffs probably pretty comfortably, probably a 4 or 5 seed.
Dude, what's weird is that when you were talking about those playoff games of Joe Burrow proving that he's that guy to us, those could be first of all, it is a small sample size. Dude, if you remember Daniel Jones' first career game, remember they came back and he ran it in on like 4th and 7 from like the 9-yard line or something like that on a draw. They were down by like 2 or 3 touchdowns in that game. And it's like if you put the Daniel Jones in like that situation and employ it over 5-6 games a year where games are winnable and he can go and do that, now the Giants are a good team. Like Justin Herbert in that Raiders game made all the fucking plays he needed to, dude. Like, but he didn't even make the playoffs. So it's like I feel like we're seeing these flashes of guys that can do it. But will they? I guess Joe Burrow proved to us that he can and will last year, but will he continue it? I don't know, dude. There's probably still a lot of flaws in this team. We just don't know. It's too young. It's too rare. Too raw.
Burrow won comeback player of the year, right?
Probably. I mean, he tore his ACL in his first year, right? Like
Unless that was Alex Smith. Did he win it? Because he played like 1 or 2 games or something. But dude, he had that gruesome injury his first year. And it's like, is this going to scar him? Is he not going to want to sit in the pocket and do what he does best? He was just like, dude, he's fearless. I really like Burrow. He's a playmaker. He's a great quarterback, I think. And you're saying top 5 in the league. For me, that might be a stretch. I mean, I'm not looking at a list right now, but, I wouldn't put him too far off. Definitely top 10.
It's weird. We were doing the quarterback rankings the other day with the AFC West, and I had Mahomes 3rd in just that division. But when we're talking about top 5 off the top of my head in the NFL, I'm thinking Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes immediately. Like, those are the 3 guys I think of immediately. Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. So I feel like that's a solid like 6. Joe Burrow doesn't have the longevity yet, but
I just think it's a little bit of a different conversation because you obviously ranked Mahomes 3rd in that division, and that's based off of projection versus when we talk about the best in the league, that's based off of pass play. So I still consider Mahomes up there where we have them. Like, dude, you're throwing so much trash on Mahomes' name, putting him behind Derek Carr. It's just
people, dude. Maybe it's because I'm so sensitive to what people say about Danny Dimes, dude. It's that he turns the ball over too much. He makes too many bad decisions. He panics, dude. I saw a lot of that stuff from Mahomes last year. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, that game against the Bills was that wasn't. Yeah, it was right. That was the divisional playoff
that was the
game.
second round.
Chiefs,
Yeah.
Bills.
That wasn't AFC. No,
that game was unfucking believable, dude. Didn't they score like 4 touchdowns in the last 2.5 minutes of that game?
Yeah, everybody was saying you can't. Everybody was saying the whole like you can't give this guy time to drive down the field. Earlier in the year, it was like you can't give Aaron Rodgers 45 seconds to drive down the field. It's like the number just keeps getting smaller, and then the AFC divisional round, Chiefs, Bills. You can't give Pat Mahomes 13 seconds to drive down the field. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, that's how great these guys are. But back to the Bengals, definitely the hardest schedule. The only thing that makes me hesitate in giving them the divisional, to have them win the division. The only other team that I would have maybe winning the division over them is the Ravens. But I think the Bengals overcome like their tough schedule, show that they belonged in the Super Bowl last year and that they are a contender again.
Dude, this season, I just want to say, like, we've never done this much prep for an NFL season. It's been mostly just like, all right, let's watch a couple YouTube clips of guys on like ESPN or whatever, and just base all of our opinions off those 10 minutes of content. But I feel like there's so many moving parts. Like, dude, it really, really pissed me off the other night. But you saying the Jets could be possibly a player. But, dude, the thing is, the Jets, I think, are playing every team we've talked about so far. Maybe not. Maybe that's a stretch. But can the Jets beat the Bengals? What happens if the Jets beat the Bengals, dude? What happens?
I think
what do I think about the Bengals now? You know?
I think, but it's not always – all right, it's a 60-minute football game. A lot of things have to go right for the team that wins the game. A lot of the time it's domination. A lot of the time it's discipline. The Jets are still a young core, young culture they're still trying to build. Those types of teams get fluky wins. And if the Bengals play bad against a team like the Jets, it doesn't say, oh, the Bengals suck because they lost to the Jets. It's more, in my mind, the Jets got better. I'm not a Jets fan. I actually hate the color green.
I hate everything about their colors, dude.
But I think that they could be a player this year.
Player.
Sorry, that's my dog. She will not stop.
Dude, the Jets, even getting better. Dude, what do you... Quick over-under on the Jets, 7.5 wins. Are you taking the over?
I don't know, dude. It's either them or the Pats. The Dolphins, too. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. Just getting through that division is going to be tough for them.
It's
and it
just
used to not
three
be like
teams.
that.
It's the Bills, and then I have like pretty much all three of these teams like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Like way below, but all like relatively the same. You don't know what you're going to get out of the Pats and Mac Jones. You don't know what you're going to get out of the Dolphins. I think they're going to be the worst team in the division, but
yes,
we'll get to the AFC East at some point.
It's the Sync Boys podcast.
All right, let's move on to the Ravens. I like that. We kind of tailed off into Neverland.
Yeah, we
right.
usually get distracted and talk about something completely different from what the actual topic is.
All right, Ravens. Last year, they started off like 8-1 or something like that. Best team in the NFL by like 2 games or something like that. Maybe just 1 full game. And then they started to get hurt.
They finished 8-9.
That just it adds to my point and supports it, but that just made me sad. Big sad vibes that they being a Ravens fan starting off that hot and every week being brutally disappointing from then on out. That's rough. So at one point last year, all 4 of their cornerbacks were on IR.
Both of their running backs.
Both their Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins were hurt. Lamar ended up being their top running rusher. They played Devontae Freeman and Latavius Murray and Lev Bell, all guys that clearly they scooped up off waivers or whatever, however that shit works, that they probably paid on the temporary contract. Like they're in so many different departments on their team, they were absolutely depleted. And they weren't really an NFL team at that point, you know?
Yeah. Lamar was out from, I believe, week 15 on throughout the rest of the season. I don't know if he got an extra start in there, but that guy, Tyler Huntley, filled in pretty well. He's very capable young man. And they re-signed him. They signed Marcus Williams, I believe, from the Saints. I haven't double checked if that's the same guy that Diggs sideline touchdown happened to. They signed Calais Campbell, Kyle Fuller, and Tyler Linderbaum, who's a center. He's pretty good. But I have the Ravens as the easiest schedule when you consider the 3 teams that they're playing. The 3 teams that they're playing are the Giants, the Jags, and the Broncos. We don't know what the Giants are. We don't know what the Broncos are, but based off of the past, this is by far the easiest out of the 4 teams.
I mean, the Giants have never, ever, 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 ever been good against a rushing mobile quarterback like Lamar Jackson. He's probably going to have over 120 yards rushing. And because of that, their running backs are also going to have that because they're going to be doing read options the whole game. And then they're probably going to have 2 or 3 big plays passing the ball. Dude, we're probably going to get fucking destroyed by the Ravens, actually.
All right. Have to stop you. With how high you are on the Giants.
Yeah.
We're
going to win. No, you're right. We're going to win.
Ravens taking us out?
We're going to win. We're going to win. You're right. Thanks for clicking me back into place there. We're going to beat the Ravens.
I'm not saying that. It's just you just being super doubtful about the Ravens. I don't know, dude.
All right. Well, they start off with the Jets. That's a win.
The Ravens and Jets are just fucking intertwined at this point.
Playing the Dolphins at home, playing the Patriots. So, and then the Bills, and then the Bengals. The Giants is their first. I'm getting sad. This is getting me sad. I had a real feeling in the chemical part of my brain. The chemical part. It's all chemicals. But I had a part in my brain that said, wow, their schedule is not that easy. And then I see the Giants logo and I was like, oh, there's a bad game. You know, like
tough.
So rough, dude.
Tough.
I their schedule is pretty easy though, dude. Panthers, Jags, Steelers, Browns, Falcons, Steelers. Wow, dude. Are we picking the Ravens as dark horse Super Bowl team?
No.
Why?
I think they can go as far as the Bills did last year. I think they could maybe win their division and then get knocked out just by a better team from another division.
Like, do you believe in your heart of hearts that the Bills were a better football team than the Chiefs last year? I do. Yeah. Especially defensively. I mean, they got obliterated by Mahomes, but like, didn't they score over 50 points in that game?
I don't know about the scoring. I know they scored a lot at the end. I don't know exactly what the score was, but the Ravens, if they're healthy, we don't know what that is, but the Ravens, when they're healthy, they've always been a great defensive team. And
Wink's gone, bro. Wink's with us now.
Don Martindale.
No, it's Winkerdale, right?
It's Wink Martindale. His name's Don.
I love him. Looks like he fishes.
Probably does. Lived in Baltimore for a long time.
Yeah, he definitely
Chesapeake
fishes.
Bay.
All right. Yeah. Mark Andrews was their top receiver last year, and that's with Marquise Brown as their number one on the outside. But without Marquise Brown, their number one receiver coming into this year is Rashad Bateman. And he had like 30 catches last year.
Yeah, he was injured for a little bit there.
So we will see, like, I guess they're going to have to go heavy with the rush attack with their two starting running backs, dude. I've never been a fan of that. Like, I hear one guy saying Gus Edwards has more potential this year and J.K. Dobbins with another guy. It's like, what's going on here, man? Who's better? Play him all the time. Give him all the reps. What's the problem?
Just me. I disagree with the whole. I like the dual running back situation because you got fresh legs going out there. They're both really the same build. Run hard, can catch the ball, and you could just switch them in and out. They're both pretty good running backs. And I don't think either is better than the other, not from what we've seen so far. And I just like the whole idea of keeping fresh legs out there, especially when you're mainly you rush the football. I really like the dynamic that they have too, where Lamar is not the greatest passer, and like you just mentioned, they don't have a crazy receiving core at all, and not really any names, but they got Mark Andrews. And when you got a quarterback that's going to be throwing short passes and a lot of play action, tight end's going to come into play pretty heavy. And they're going to be running the ball a lot. So it's going to be run, play action. That's how their offense is going to run. And I think they're going to be pretty effective as long as they could stay healthy.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're on the field with these guys and you see that, let's just say J.K. Dobbins is hitting the right holes or making the right, just his feel for that game specifically is on point. And then they bring in the other guy, Gus, here and there, and it kind of breaks up the rhythm of J.K. Dobbins. Like, I feel like as a player, you want to scream in your coach's face and be like, keep giving it to J.K. Like, it's He's got it right now. He's got it right now. Like, I feel like you're breaking the rhythm of the offense when you're subbing out these guys so often. It's like they can't find a rhythm individually. And then their patterns of behavior when it comes to that split second between getting the ball and breaking the line of scrimmage, that's a chemistry thing with the linemen, is it not? Like, and if that's switching every other play, it's like hard.
I like that point. It's individual, and it's all about feel and who's doing better and whatnot. But I always remember this one scene from Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington. He comes into the program and he hands out the playbooks, and the playbooks are like this thin, and there's like, oh, what is there, like 13 plays on here? He's like, we don't have to run any different plays if you run it effectively and you execute it the right way. So why I'm bringing that up, you can have anybody run the position as long as you execute the play. And I think this team is exactly like that, where it's like, we're going to run powers and draws, and we're going to run the ball. It doesn't matter who we're giving the ball to. We're going to execute every play. We're going to run through this line, and that's the kind of team I think they are.
All right. That being said, what do you have their predicted record at? Like, do you have them winning the division? No, right? You said the Bengals?
I have the Bengals winning the division at 11-6. I'll give the Ravens a 9-8.
9-8.
Yeah. I think that's fair. They also drafted Kyle Hamilton. Big fan of this kid.
Yep.
Big, rangy corner. He can hit. He can tackle. He can catch the ball. He can cover. He played in Notre Dame. I watched him quite a bit last year. I hoped that he fell to the Giants. He got drafted later than I expected, but great player nonetheless, and a good addition to that already great secondary.
Yeah, those ones are going to be buzzing over there. But I mean,
I hope he wears number 14 in the NFL. So sick.
Yeah, I'm not totally sold on these guys because there's so many guys wearing 1 or 2.
Tony, 89.
I would like it more if he was 88. Immediately erased the memory of Evan Ingram. 89's
it's just weird going from being like the number 1 receiver at Florida wearing number 1, and then you go to the NFL and nobody's wearing number 1, and you're allowed to wear a single digit number, and you wear number 89. What are you, Steve Smith?
Nah. Steve Smith, coach of the Giants receivers.
Yeah,
or he's just like a consultant.
I think he's one of the coaches now, but I don't know exactly where. But got that like dog on our side.
Perfect role model for all the smaller receivers that we have.
Just getting nasty.
All right, buzz. Wow, my face is tired. Like I just went like that.
I can tell.
My face just went like that, and this part of my face cramped.
It's the Sink Boys podcast.
Right, let's move on to the Brownies.
The Brownies.
The Yikers.
The dog pond.
The trade the number 1 overall pick to the team that has the 3rd overall pick from the same draft. Baker Mayfield is no longer the housekeeper for the Browns stadium. Oh, those commercials
are
embarrassing
done.
Now.
Finally.
Yeah, dude. Brutal.
Oh my
God. He's probably going to lose his Progressive sponsorship. Yikes.
Or they
is that Progressive?
I think so.
Or Geic?
No, I think it was Progressive. And maybe he just starts filming them in Carolina and they come back. They can't air those Browns commercials anymore. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But maybe they just redo it all with the Panthers.
I would hope not. They should start a new campaign. New team, new Baker. You know what I'm saying? Or is it we are farmers? Dun, 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 dun. It's definitely insurance.
Yeah,
It's
no, 100%. I
100%.
think it's progressive.
We'll just go with that.
So they released Jarvis Landry, they released J.C. Treader, and they released Austin Hooper. All guys who had pretty good years last year, but maybe they were unhappy with the organization. Well, at least for the
you're saying that.
The two last ones, Treader and Hooper, had good years. I don't know about Jarvis, but
Trust me, you should take him kind of guy in fantasy. Sleeper, Jarvis Landry. Odell's going to get all the attention before Odell got traded. Dude probably had 450 yards and 2 touchdowns, bro. When was he ever good?
Yeah, he definitely had some...
No, slow down. I'm sorry. You can say what you want to say right after I say this. He had like 3,000-yard seasons and like 10 touchdowns on the Dolphins. All right, go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say I never really thought he was that great. He definitely had some flashes here and there if you had him in fantasy past couple of years, but never great to the name everybody held him to such a high standard from the start, probably mostly because of the Odell thing, but
and LSU.
Yeah.
LSU receivers, they're a different breed.
Yeah, they are. So they traded Amari Cooper and a 6th for 2022 5th and a 6th. So they traded their 6th and they got a 5th for Amari Cooper.
The Browns?
Yeah.
The Browns got Amari Cooper.
Oh, they traded a 5th and a 6th for Amari Cooper and a 6th. Yikes.
Why swap 6th rounders now? Why? What is that? Just trade him straight up for a 5th.
So it's a cap dump, right? That's what happened with the Cowboys, right?
I guess. I mean,
because he's not a bad receiver at all.
Yeah, dude. What do you? I've seen countless highlight videos of his route running and speed. He's a good receiver. I mean, his career will die, but
Sharif loves to use this term. He's an America's choice Julio Jones.
Whoa, Julio Jones. Dude.
He's a big athletic.
Amari is not big and athletic. Dude. Here we go.
All right.
Amari Cooper height coming right up.
At least 6'5".
6'1". Cha-ching.
Yikes. 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 All right.
I don't know why you thought he was big.
The brains. Whoa, we got to settle. The Browns traded Mac Wilson for Chase Winovich to the Pats. And they traded.
Linebacker?
Yeah, I think he's a outside rusher.
Dude, the Patriots hear that there's a player in the NFL's name that ends with ICH, and they're all over that guy. Ninkovich?
I think Winovich was there for a while, dude.
Wait, the Patriots traded away Minkovich?
Winovich.
Okay, just go.
And they traded a first in 2022, 2023, and 2024, plus a 2023 third and a 2024 fourth for Deshaun Watson and a 2024 fifth. Deshaun Watson, I can't believe I didn't look this up or completely clarify it, but I'm pretty sure he's banned for 2 years.
Nah, they didn't. I don't think that they decided it yet.
But I mean, he's definitely. I think it's safe to say he's not playing this year.
No, it's not. It's not safe to say that. He might play after the first 6 games. Want me to look it up, dude?
I disagree.
What do you mean you disagree? It's not our decision to make. Yeah.
Um, they signed Denzel Ward to a 5-year deal. They re-signed Jadeveon Clowney. They gave David Njoku the franchise tag, and they re-signed Dearness Johnson, that running back that came in clutch last year. Had a couple big games. You got anything on the Watson situation?
Yeah, dude. He's looking at about a year suspension, but he started fucking paying dudes off. Well, not dudes, but he started paying people off. Like, instead of, like, he just came to settlements.
Yeah, no, dude, he couldn't. Dude, he would be in trials for like 3 years if he went through all of that.
Yeah. I mean,
And I think that was half the
been a
point.
while.
I think that was half of the. Well, I think the proceedings started this year in like February or March. But yeah, it's been a while, and he's obviously still going. But last year the Browns went 8-9. They, I believe, have the second easiest schedule behind the Ravens. They're playing the Chargers, the Texans, and the Commanders as their 3 random teams.
Wait,
Texans and the Commanders are pretty. The Chargers, the Texans, and the Commanders. I think the Texans and the Commanders are safe. Safe to say that they're going to be not great this year.
Yeah, you like being a safe. I'm going to be risky right here and say that the Browns only win 2 games. I know I'm jumping to the edge. What tells me that they're going to win any games?
No, I know. Dude, 2 games is like, I won't even say that the Giants will win 2 games. 2 games is an unbearable season.
The fact that you just put the Giants in the same conversation as thinking that they might only win 2 wins, dude, this has got to come to an end, man. This charade that you have, charade, facade. Say something. And what's the right word here?
I don't know. I'm not inside your brain, dude.
This facade that you're going with, where you're a self-loathing Giants fan, when I know deep down you think that we're going to win the division. Dude, one of these days, I'm going to get you to say it.
No.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Classic Joe Milk Chug. Like I said, second easiest schedule. I don't know about 2 wins, but I definitely have them losing the division. Last place, I will say 6-11.
6-11, you say?
Especially because they're probably playing Brissett this year. And quarterback is the main telltale sign of how a team's going to do.
You know what's the hugest of yikes? The Browns traded Baker to the Panthers. So now the Panthers have the 1st and 3rd overall picks, both quarterbacks from the same draft. And they didn't draft either of the quarterbacks. And they're going to be battling out a starting spot. And it's possible neither of them win.
Matt Corral, right?
I forget who the other guy is, but
they drafted a quarterback in like the 2nd round.
Dude, it'll be brutal. Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah. It'll be brutal, though, if Baker doesn't start against the Browns in week 1 against Jacoby Brissett. That would be hell.
I think if you're giving it to the most experienced guy, the guy with the biggest resume and the most NFL experience and all that, you give it to Baker.
Oh my God! I thought you were going to say Darnold when they have the exact same.
Well, no,
Darnold
Darnold
same
has
experience.
missed significantly more time.
Oh, sure, yeah, Forgot he's always hurt.
Yeah.
Classic Jets.
Got
Speaking of the
mono.
Jets, they play them next. Dude, this is the easiest schedule I've seen at all the teams. They start off with the Panthers, Jets, Steelers, and Falcons. All of these teams either drafted a quarterback this year or last year. And then they play the Patriots last year quarterback. And then the Ravens, the Bengals 2 years ago quarterback. Tua 2 years ago. Actually, what, last year Tua was drafted?
No.
2 years ago. All right. Bills, Bucks, Texans last year drafted a quarterback. Bengals again. Ravens, Saints. Is Jameis the quarterback?
Yeah.
Because last year he was hurt, or because they feel like he's good at football now?
Dude, you know what's funny? Before he started being the backup behind Drew Brees, is that last year he was on the Bucks. He had a 30-30 season. Like, this guy can throw 30 touchdowns. He's a turnover machine, but
Can also throw 30 picks.
yeah.
Holy shit!
Fucking
brutal that is.
Dude,
Yes!
I love PMT because they throw him. They love him. Jameis Winston. The 1 year or the 2 years that I was a fan of the Florida State Seminoles, they won the chip and he was the quarterback. it was a fun year.
All right, dude. There's only between their own division and the Bills and the Bucks. Those are the only teams that are good enough to say that the Browns can not beat them. Every other game for this year for the Browns is a winnable game, even with Brissett at quarterback.
The Chargers.
Chargers too. I'm gonna change my prediction.
I think the Commanders
I did not see the Chargers. Oh, here we go.
I think the Commanders beat the Browns. The Browns are gonna stink this year. And you just said that they were gonna have 2 wins, and now you're changing your pick. I'm gonna go lower now.
I'm gonna change it to 5.
I'm going.
Because they're playing so many bad
5
teams.
and 12. Yeah.
All right, we did it. We did it.
Finally agreed on something.
Yeah, finally.
It's been a while.
It's the Sync Boys podcast.
Do we move on to the last squad in the AFC North?
Yeah, this is Jack's. I'm just gonna start it off. This is Jack's favorite team, only when he's by himself. When he's in public, he's a Giants fan. When he's not, he secretly loves the Steelers and can't wait for them to be good again.
I love the Steelers and the Colts just because great defenses.
What about the Giants defense? What? We drafted the best player in the draft this year.
You're a psycho, dude. You are a psycho. Dude, I don't think any NFL analyst or anybody has ever said that Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be the best player defensively.
Of course he is, dude. What do you mean? Who's going to be better? Aiden Hutchinson?
Yeah.
Who was the first overall pick? An edge rusher. He just has to be better than that guy, and he wins.
He also said he was going to take us to an NFC East title.
Yes, Bess.
Kayvon Thibodeau said, I am going to take us to an NFC title. NFC East title.
Action? Yes.
So for the Steelers, I have them at the second hardest. They have to play the Colts, the Raiders, and the Eagles. Those are 3 solid squads.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Eagles to fail, but I still consider them to be pretty good.
They haven't been an easy win for years.
I don't know what you're talking about. We beat them every year.
Yikes. The Steelers signed Mitch Trubisky and Larry Ogunjobi. If you don't know who that is, that's the guy that got hurt against the Titans, I believe, or the Raiders in the playoffs. He was on the Bengals. He's a D tackle. Defected to the Steelers. The Steel Curtain. The Steelers declined Devin Bush's 5th-year option, and they drafted our friend Sharif's favorite receiver prospect that played for the Georgia Bulldogs last year, George Pickens. Yeah. I don't have a lot on the Steelers. And
there's not a lot to say, dude. They are going to be a nice under the radar player comp for Kenny Pickett, Sam Darnold with the Jets. At least for the first year.
I think
maybe
Pickett
they win
could be
like 5
better
games.
Than him.
Yeah, I'm just saying for the first year.
So yeah, obviously you have to look at the quarterbacks of each team to kind of decide the fate of their team. And they rode Big Ben for a while. They rode Big Ben in that defense for a long time. They have a really solid, awesome young running back in Najee Harris. They have a great receiving core, great tight end, Freiermuth. Great defense. Man. They seem like they have all the pieces, except they have a rookie quarterback and another quarterback who failed in Chicago, Mitch Trubisky. So it's definitely a toss-up, but I think it's safe to say that they'll finish third in the division. I'm going to give them a 7-10 prediction record.
I'm going to say...
Wow.
Listeners,
Joe needs to go take a nap.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm like halfway fired up and halfway totally asleep. And I don't know what's wrong with me. I should probably go eat a burger. But just run with it. Maybe some hot sauce. Anyway, I think the Steelers win like 6 games. Their defense is pretty good. I don't know if they're going to be able to score. Chase Claypool seems like an asshole. So, and Najee Harris can't do it all by himself. Maybe Pickett doesn't have like one thing that he's really, really good at. So, we'll see, dude. We'll see. Tomlin knows how to get the boys fired up, though. Definitely knows how to lead a group of men.
Absolutely.
We shall see. Pittsburgh Steelers. Never gone under 500 record under Mike Tomlin. Will this be the year? I think so. They have to win 9 games to keep that streak alive, and I don't see it happening. Not for 1 second. At the same time, I'm going to retract. I'm going to back it up. Ben Roethlisberger was fucking terrible the last couple of years he was in the league. I mean, tackling himself half the time.
Yeah, that one video is so like... that one of him just
brutal,
just trying to just roll out at all and just falling down after he threw a pass, barely got it off. Like guy was a mess at the end of his career.
Yeah.
Also, shout out Big Ben for his last home game. I think he started at like the 50-yard line and he went all the way around to the end zone, all the way across, all the way back down to like maybe the 25, giving fans high fives on his last game at Heinz Field. Pretty electric.
Pretty sick. Pretty electric. He should have done it on his motorcycle when it crashed it.
So that was our AFC North prediction. Again, I have the Bengals to win the division with the Ravens slightly behind, the Steelers more of a losing team, and the Browns in the dungeon, let's say.
I have so far the two divisions the 2 divisions that we've done, at least 2 teams in both divisions that can make a splash, especially in the wild card race. I mean, the Ravens in this division or the Bengals, whoever wins the division, whoever loses the division. But then the other division, obviously, they have 4 teams that are capable of winning a ton of games. And we haven't even touched the other divisions in the AFC. So there could be a lot of good teams this year, but whenever that happens, you have some underachievers. Somebody has to lose the games.
It's the Sink Boys podcast.
Little Bruins news. Jake DeBrusk rescinded his trade request.
Let's go, boys.
So I think early to middle of the season last year, he requested a trade. I think it was well documented he didn't get along with Bruce Cassidy. Bruce Cassidy was a little bit harder on the young guys. They didn't play in his system. His system is built for 18 Patrice Bergerons, and Jake DeBrusk is just not that. He's not great on the defense, and he doesn't hustle back on back checks a lot, but he's a great offensive threat. And so he requested a trade. The Bruins held on to him. The Bruins held on to him. Maybe the entire time, maybe they were like, maybe this is Bruce's last shot, and we'd rather hold on to JD than Bruce. So Bruce gets fired. David Krejci releases a picture or something. It was like a hint to Bruins fans, like, oh, I might be coming back. That was only after Bruce Cassidy got fired. Patrice Bergeron announced that he's coming back after that news came out. And now Jake DeBrusk rescinds his trade request. Are the Bruins winning the cup next year because they weren't trying for Bruce Cassidy, and we're about to see a whole new team next year?
This is what we like to call an overreaction. I don't know what that was. I felt like I was on Nickelodeon, but
you weren't. There's no slime.
What about this is the Disney Channel.
That's Disney Channel. It's not Nickelodeon.
All right, well, we're going to do a overreaction. That's an overreaction. All right. Jim Montgomery, I love that he's bald. I was initially against it, but I love it.
Wow.
Just get the distractions out of there. Just quick. He doesn't even use shampoo. Like, how, dude? How?
You were on another level this podcast.
He doesn't have to worry about that stuff. All he has to worry about is hockey. That's what I'm talking about, dude. He doesn't have to worry about his salad. He doesn't have to worry about what hair product to use, because that's hockey. Part of it is the salad, dude. Part of it is the salad. Actually, not for the Bruins. They don't really have any guys. Pastrnak?
McAvoy?
DeBrusk?
More of a short hair guy.
Anyway.
Grizzlick when he grows out the flow.
Grizzlick is still on the team?
Yep. Yes. Yes.
All right, well.
What?
I just wanted to say, if they get Kadri without losing a major piece, I think we could start talking about champs. But the same roster with a different guy as the voice in the locker room, that's a lot. That's a huge jump, dude. They lost in the first round.
I'm hopeful that the team dynamic and the strategy is going to change under Montgomery. Maybe the guys will want to play for him more than they did Cassidy. If we get Kadri, total game changer. Like I said, we're right back in that comp window. He's an unbelievable player. You can listen to our last podcast to get my thoughts on that. But I want to move away from the Bruins, get a little bit more NHL news out of the way, just so we can finish this baby up. Philip Forsberg has been in contract negotiations pretty much all of this past year. Incredible goal scorer, incredible player. I think they're ironing out the contract details now, but he looks like he's likely to re-sign. And in Pittsburgh is the opposite. It looks like Malkin is going to test the free agency market, which is I'm pretty excited about. I definitely don't want him on the Bruins. But
Same.
Why?
I want Kadri more. Can't have both.
Okay, nice position recognition. Yeah, he's just too old, and he's one of those guys where it's like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. He has his own tricks. He's super stubborn. Sometimes he just does a really dumb penalty just because he gets mad. He's still like that. He's never fixed that. And just to close out everything, shout out two people. I think his name is Mike Greer, the first Black general manager in NHL history. He was just hired by the San Jose Sharks, and he just announced that he is not going to completely rebuild the Sharks roster, which probably means that they hold on to Burns, Carlson, Meyer, and Hurdle. Those guys are all great pieces. The two former that I named, Carlson and Burns, are fossils. Injured fossils. So I don't know how it's going to fare for them. They might be able to sell those guys maybe at 50% retained and try to build around their two young forwards that are studs, both like really skilled power forwards. But look out for the Sharks, and congratulations to Greer. And last thing is Dr. Haley Wickenheiser, one of the greatest players for the women's Canadian national team ever for hockey. She just got hired to be the assistant general manager for the Toronto Maple Leafs under Kyle Dubas. And she, I think I overheard this on Plenty a Podcast, that she is the first female front office member in the NHL. Fired up. Yeah. Congratulations to the NHL making
moves
in one
everywhere.
Pretty sad. It's 2022, and a lot of other leagues did these things many years ago.
NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I think the NBA was the first league to have a black general manager, and I think it was in like the 60s or something, or like the 70s.
Dude, there's a coach, I think her name is Becky Simmons. She was the assistant head coach on the Spurs last year.
Wow.
Popovich. He just gets
Hell yeah.
She was applying for NBA head coach jobs. That didn't happen. So now she coaches a WNBA team and I think the women's basketball Olympic team. But what a lady. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out.
I don't really know a lot about her. Becky Hammond. Not so.
It's the Sink Boys podcast.
All right. One thing that we wanted to touch on tonight was the Kevin Durant trade rumors. So Kyrie Irving picks up his player option with the Nets for $37 million. And 3 days later, Kevin Durant requests a trade.
The NBA explodes. Every team is like, well, we had this plan, and now we got to do this. Oh, we won't be doing our jobs unless we check in on if we can get KD. Every team is trying to put together a package. KD releases his two teams that he wants to get traded to potentially as the Heat and the Suns. Joe, take it away.
So the Suns, for me, makes sense. You know, he would have Chris Paul. He would have DeAndre Ayton. The rest of the roster would probably have to be traded to get Durant there. So I don't know what that team looks like. Don't like it. The Heat were so deep last year. Like, they were one of the few teams playing like 9-10 guys every playoff game. I could see them trading a whole bunch of picks, which they probably have, and a couple of their bench guys. And for Durant, I could see that happening, but this Durant to the Warriors talk, when we first started talking about it with Sharif, pissed me off so much because the Warriors are in a position where they have by far the most to offer for Durant. Mm-hmm. By far. You know, they could package together, let's just say, Wiggins, Poole, and Kuminga and Wiseman, which would probably have to be it, considering all you see on the news is the Nets are looking for the biggest possible package they can, because they can, pretty much. Durant is in his prime still. But for the Warriors to trade, especially Wiggins, but it would probably be Wiggins combined with at least two of those other guys, you're trading 8 to 10 to 12 years away of guys that have already proven themselves as having a shit ton of potential and can play in the playoffs and the finals. for 3 years of Kevin Durant? There's no guarantees. At least with the 8-year plan, your odds are better with, investing in 5, 6 guys instead of one guy. And the Warriors, I don't know if they do get better with Durant. Yeah, they'll probably win another title or two. But do they get better as a team? I don't know.
That's kind of what I look at as the most prevalent thing is, do they get better? I think last year they proved they don't need him to win. And so this is the exact thing that Sharif sent us from Bleacher Report. Per Marcus J. Spears, the Warriors have interest in trading for Kevin Durant. Golden State could offer the best package for both sides: Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, and James Wiseman. See,
that's crazy.
I don't know if he means that they would be willing to send all of those guys. In that case, I don't think the Nets could say no. I think they would look so stupid if that was offered. Now, I think Bob Myers is a great GM. I think he's proven it over the years. There's a couple different factors that go into this, but I think the number one thing here is that they're checking a box. They're like, hey, we inquired about it. Kevin Durant made himself available. He requested a trade. We checked in on it. I kind of think that that's what this is, because I think if you ask Steph will be like, oh, all love to Kevin, and oh, I would love to play with him again and all this stuff. But I think unless he's selfish and he wants the last remaining years of his career to be just winning for like 3 years and then just completely falling off, I think Steph personally wants to keep the young guys around the way that they have things built now. They don't have to make any real moves. They have a really well-built team, size, athleticism, all of it, shooting. I don't think they need KD at all.
Dude, I think that the foundation of the Warriors' success is relationships and is selflessness that is led by Steph Curry. And I think that Bob Myers, the relationship that he has with the owner, the relationship he has with Kerr and the players, he is not going to use his power to completely destroy what he has built. Dude, he drafted all those guys. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
He drafted all of those guys, especially the younger guys.
Except for Wiggins, but yeah.
But he made that. He got Wiggins there for D'Angelo Russell, which I'm pretty sure.
Incredible trade.
Before and after that trade, people were like, okay, Wiggins is the better player here. So I think to tear it all down after building it up and already having success would be more a testament to him not respecting the relationships that have been built than anything else. And I think that that's the foundation of the Warriors. So I don't see enough pros to outweigh the cons whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense to me at all, even though they have the most to offer.
It's just like you said it. You're trading away like 5, 6, 7 years of great team play and chemistry and how you have things built, and all these young guys going to fill in the roles for the older guys that are on their way out, to 3 years of KD. And maybe we win a chip every year and we get enshrined as the best team of all time and all that stuff. But no, I don't think it's smart by any means. I think it's dumb.
Especially the main piece of that deal being Wiggins.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many underdog stories are on this team to just... Dude, Durant is not that valuable. He hasn't been able to win anywhere but the Warriors. We don't need him. If they needed him probably in 2016, after they lost the Cavs, it was like, all right, we're probably not going to be able to get past the Cavs. We need another piece. He just happened to be available. Everything worked out. But right now, dude, they have aging stars, quote unquote, that could still play at an extremely high level, especially their best player, and new guys coming in, taking the league by storm. Dude, the Warriors, I don't think there's been a team in the history of sports, at least since I've been around, that has had a better transition period already set up. They're already on the roster. You just have to extend them. So, and then I don't know. There's rumors about him being traded to the Sixers for like Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle. There's that going around. But actually, right now, Woj is saying that Kevin Durant absolutely could stay with the Nets. Just because you request a trade doesn't mean that he's going to get traded.
I don't give a flying where he goes, except for the Warriors. Anywhere else, I'm fine with. I don't care. I don't care where he goes. I don't care if he stays in Brooklyn. I don't care if he goes to the T-Wolves. I don't care if he goes to the Grizzlies. If he goes to the Warriors, I will be beside myself.
I mean, dude, the Lakers are talking about trading, not the Lakers, but there's talks about the Lakers trading Westbrook and AD for Durant and Kyrie. I think the Lakers win a championship. I think the Lakers can get past the Warriors.
With that crew?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, LeBron is a major factor, too. Dude, I really hope LeBron still has it next year. I know in your mind it's like without a doubt, but for me it's like, dude, he's old. I hope he comes back and he's the same LeBron.
I think part of him is so obsessed with like conserving his body that he won't take unnecessary risks. I mean, he probably knew his team wasn't going to make the playoffs or win a playoff series once they got there. So he probably was playing a little bit more laid back last year, but those type of habits don't go away, or at least they're hard to overturn, dude. It's hard to return to that fire, that competitiveness, just because there's a couple guys that are better on your team. I mean, I think that's going to be the deciding factor for LeBron. I think he's still capable of anything he wants to do. I think it's just mental at that point. But here's another Durant rumor. Nets small forward has gone dark as numerous stars have reached out with no answer. Weird, dude. This whole thing is weird. He is such a fucking drama queen. He's such a pussy, dude. Mm-hmm. I don't want him on the Warriors. We'll say it over and over again. It's not worth it for them. It doesn't make sense for either side. Durant's legacy also, dude. So he doesn't win an OKC. He gets beaten after being up 3-1 by the Warriors. And then he joins them. He wins 2 titles, leaves them after, and no one expected him or thought that he should leave. Where are you going, dude? Mm-hmm. Where are you fucking going? You found the team.
His ego and pride took him away.
He leaves. They lose in the first round. Or they lost in the second round last year.
2 years ago.
To the Bucks. Remember Game 7, Durant's foot was on the 3-point line? It would have given them the lead, but it actually tied it, and they lost in OT.
I don't, 7. But yeah, I believe you.
Yeah, dude. So they lost that series, and then they lose this series 4-0. Totally embarrassing. All the drama between him and Kyrie and off the court. It's just a fucking nightmare, dude. Should have never left the Warriors, and now he wants to come back. He looks soft, dude. He looks like he can't do it by himself. Why would he want to be traded back to the Warriors, aside from just making his life easier? It's bullshit, dude. I can't be a fan of this guy ever again.
Yeah, no, it's like him and Aaron Rodgers last year. I was starting to get back on the bandwagon, like, oh, they might be all right. Like, they might be cool. Like, they're opening themselves up more to media and speculation, and they're being just joining the conversation socially on social media. And then it's like, oh yeah, this is why everybody hates you. It's just the worst people. Drama stirrers.
I can't say I'm surprised by this situation. But...
Dude, we literally talked about during the playoffs. We talked about KD And we were like, where could he go? Where would he be a good fit? Can't believe he got rumored to the Warriors. Can't believe it still might happen. It's just...
I feel like any team that you were on in the past, you're going to be rumored to return to no matter what. Like, oh, things are different now. Maybe it'll work out like this time. Maybe they should try it out. You don't
worked
break
last
up, if your girlfriend leaves you and then 3 years later just walks back into your life, you do not, absolutely under no circumstance, let that go down. Because then the Warriors are some pussies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I don't like any of this bullshit. But we'll see what happens. It seems like it's kind of dying out. We'll see if the Nets literally let the rumors die. Maybe they're not getting the package they're looking for, but I don't know, dude. Whatever. Fuck Kevin Durant. It's a whole song. Let's go. All right. This has been the Sick Boys podcast. Follow us on Instagram at CINQBOYS, Sick Boys.
Same thing on Twitter, CINQBOYS, Sync Boys. And we have a website now. It's www.syncboys, CINQ Boys, sports betting and news podcast.com.
Everything that you need to know about us, all the outlets that you can listen to us on, everything. Soon
anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can listen to us.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Hell yeah, brother. All right.
Sync Boy signing off.
Peace. It's the Sync Boys podcast.